Hey everybody, AZ Badfish here. Welcome back to PrimeCraft Season 2. And this represents part of, at least, the result of many hours of tweaking and adjusting and moving stuff around, and that's not supposed to go there. So, I have had to rebuild this villager breeder again. I don't know if you guys remember in the last episode, I'd actually rebuilt it off camera a few times, and I've done it again. It was actually working pretty well. There was plenty of villagers and stuff for a while, and then it kind of slowed down, and I noticed that the food chest was getting ridiculously full. This is actually pretty full right now, but that's actually kind of unusual. I'm not sure. I think somebody must have just put some in there, or I'm not sure what's going on with that. But yeah, basically what was happening before, if you remember, I had one single pod. They were all standing on a solid block, and they were surrounded at head level by fences, and that was keeping them in place. The problem was there was way more villagers in there than I thought there was. Way more. Something in the mid high 20s, 25, 26. There was a lot of villagers in that one pod, and our maximity cramming on the server is set to 50, so that wasn't an issue. What the issue was there were so many that their hitboxes were basically making it impossible for them to throw each other food, because as soon as one of them threw a piece of food out, it would get bounced off into the side. So if I were to climb up there and drop a bunch of food in there, they would almost immediately just start dumping it onto the ground, and it was getting picked up. So yeah, that was a problem. But now I've kind of adjusted this to be a little different. This is closer to what we've got at spawn, I believe, with the iron farms, and I've basically replaced the wooden fences with cobblestone walls and put glass in the corners. So it doesn't seem that they're really able to throw. I mean, they can still throw each other food, but it doesn't seem like it drops into the water most of the time. And most of the time it seems to be just fine. Now we have this problem, though, of these guys just hanging out here. And I think I know what to do about that. We're going to have to drop this whole thing down by one, so that's not going to be a problem. But yeah, this is in this setup, there's 8 in each pod. I had to pull all the villagers out. I had netherrack walls all over here, and then once they were all out of the system, I rebuilt it and put water elevators and water pathways and stuff like that. Yeah, see, when a new one comes, generally it pushes the one that gets stuck right there, because that's just an air block. So I think what I'm going to end up having to do is just drop this whole waterway by one, like I said. But yeah, so this is all working pretty good, with that one little exception, which I already know how to fix, and we can do that. I've done some tweaking up here as well, and I want to show you guys. So if you remember, this used to be a waterway all the way around to this one, and the waterways were in the corners and everything like that, and that was actually okay. That was working fairly well. The issue was where and I might actually still have this issue now looking at this, but we'll see. The issue is that, I mean, I could kind of show you. You'll see that when I hit that fence gate, I kind of pop up, because that fence gate, when it's closed, is higher up, obviously, than the block it's next to, so that when they were coming at it straight on, they would get to that and just stop, and they wouldn't go anymore. So that was a problem. We were getting some pretty big backups. We ran this for a while now, and it seems to be working just fine. Although I'm not sure why it doesn't have the same problem. I guess when the cart gets dropped on, by the time it hits the bottom, it's already pushed far enough over. But that seems to be working now. Those corners are doing okay. We do have another slight issue, and looks like I'm going to sleep real quick. So, as I was saying, we do have another slight issue. And, well, actually, as you can see, we've got some villagers in here. These were full at one point. Vidargavia and I have gone through here and kind of taken the ones that weren't did have good trades and dropped them through. You saw he had some hearts there. That is an issue because, as I mentioned in the old breeder, a bunch of food just was constantly being dropped to these guys. So we have a pretty big problem with the villager drop-off system. This just isn't working well. They get stuck in these blank spaces enough that you know, a guy coming from the top will just land on top of them. Just basically they get stuck. They get stuck, and this is not a good system. So I think today what I want to do is I want to fix that. And we're going to do that by digging out an area underneath and adding some more rail. Hopefully this is going to work. But yeah, so I first am going to dig out a bunch of this area. I'm going to get rid of this water. And yeah, I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, so I've got this area all dug out and kind of cleaned up a little bit. I've closed off the old drop-off for now. I pulled all that rail back. So basically what we're going to be doing here is building a little rail circuit. It's going to be made of almost entirely powered rail, which is what really makes it work. So I don't think I actually have enough, but we'll go ahead and run it. And what it's going to do is kind of horseshoe around this room. And what's going to happen is whenever we... well... Alright, so we'll have one here and one into the wall like that. So... You know what? We don't need that. All right. Let me show you what I'm thinking here. So what I was looking at here, if I connect like that, then see, this is where when there's no open slots available, they're gonna fall in here. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to make this work the way I want. I want this to come this way, like that. Yeah, but now this is going to go up in there, which is actually fine. Okay, so what's going to happen here is basically I'll power all of these so they're always powered. But if say we push a button and one of our trapdoors here opens up, the guy's going to fall and he's going to land in his minecart and he's going to land on here. I'm going to build this wall down a little bit so that that's exactly what's going to happen. So he'll land here and he probably is not going to move at first. When they're in a minecart, they can just decide on their own that they want to move in a particular direction. But if they don't, eventually another guy is going to get dropped in, and he will, you know, they'll push each other or something. I've messed around with this in creative mode, and it seemed to be working exactly the way I thought it would, which is he'll sit here for a second or two, and then eventually pick a direction and push off. And when he does that, because the rail is powered, he just takes off. And basically what we want is to have this all connected up so that regardless of which direction he goes, they end up coming here to the middle. And, oops, whoops, that's not what I wanted to happen at all. Okay, so then here, yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna have to put stone brick under here eventually, but just so you can see what I'm talking about, these guys are going to they're gonna come out like this, something like this, and then this guy's gonna come out like this. And then eventually they'll be on one rail. So regardless of where they come from, either they get dropped from the top or, they come around from the side. In this case, they're going to actually ride this line here, bounce off the wall, and then come back over. But regardless, they end up all going to the same line. And then I can take this rail line and do whatever I want with it. So I need to get building on some of these walls, and I guess actually make this look nicer. Alright, so this area has been cleaned up a little bit. I've got stone brick under everything. I've got all the rail lines powered. Everything should be good to go in here. I mean, I'll still have to build walls around here and stuff, but for right now this is good. So this comes under here, and what we're going to do is build a drop off here. And how I'm going to be doing that is very carefully. So I've built these a couple times. Sometimes I have problems with them. Most recently, when I did this in creative mode, everything seemed to work out just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that we're good to go. So what I need to do is dig out a little space back here. Doesn't need a whole lot of room. That's probably close to enough. So we'll go ahead and put our... Let's dig this out a little bit more, and then maybe make a walkway for now, because I want to test this out. So, alright, let's put a torch here. Okay, so we'll get a block here, and then we need a sticky piston here. Okay, now put that back right there, because this is going to get powered with a tripwire hook. So basically we want, whenever there's somebody activating that tripwire hook, we want this to get pulled back. But, whoops, that was my torch. Come back here. Okay. So that means we're going to need to basically invert this signal from right here. And actually this will probably be a little bit easier than I was expecting. So if I put a block back here like that, because what I want to do is add a delay to it. So if I do that and then dust and dust. Oh, can I get out? Oh, perfect. So that's exactly what we need to happen. Oh, let's get out of here. So I guess all I need to do now is, I do not have ender pearls on me. Alright, we're going to have to dig our way out of here. So I do have a lava bucket though, so we're going to go ahead and dig down a bit and add our bucket of lava. Alright, so bucket of lava's in. We're pretty low down now, so we can go ahead and pillar our way back out of here. Okay, so now we've got a very active trap here, and I want to go ahead and remove that for now. Just so I don't accidentally kill myself. And of course I've got too much stuff. Alright, so that's all cleaned up, and I'm sure you're wondering, well, that's all great, but how are you gonna get the guys over there? Well, we got this thing called an activator rail, which is pretty awesome. So it will shake the cart and basically kick the guy out of it. The problem is you've pretty much got to force the game to drop the guy off where you want, and that can be a little difficult, but I am going to do that by, I'll show you. So go ahead and add our corner bit there, and we'll run this guy. Oh, he's getting powered by the torch in there, I think. Yeah, maybe. Because if I break this, yeah, okay. So I will go ahead and actually add redstone there just to keep it powered. A regular rail right here, a regular rail right here, and then we're going to continue this on. Oops. I'm going to have to redo that. Perfect. Okay. Here. And then we can start our powered rail again. Okay, so oh, the other thing we got to do is slabs. So we're going to actually slab up the roof on the way out. when we walk out, we're gonna put slabs on here like this, so that, you know, when you're on a rail, you can still get through there. But when you hit the activator rail, the only place it can put you is right there. Is basically what I'm doing. So, all right, the next thing we're gonna do is, I suppose, get to where we're gonna go, and I've got the coordinates for where we need to be. So it's just a few more blocks. Okay, so I've made a bit of progress. I've got this item elevator in place now that's coming up from the bottom, and it's connected to the cart input. So hopefully the only stuff that should ever be coming in here is carts. So let's run down there and check out what's going on. Ooh, got a little bit of frame drop there. That was weird. So we head down here. Not much has changed up here, but if you come through here, this is all still the same. It's kind of dark in here. I should maybe, I mean, I don't need to. Nothing, well, yeah, maybe I put a piece of glowstone in here or something. Yeah, we'll do that later. But yeah, so we've got cactus in here. So we've got to finish connecting this up. And ooh, I should have gone ahead and replaced all of this stuff. And, oh, man, I am having troubles this morning. Maybe it's because it's so early. Yeah, I guess I didn't tell you guys. I woke up really early this morning. I started recording about 5:30 in the morning today. So I don't know why I woke up that early. I just did. Sometimes it happens, you know. I'm gonna need to cover that up as well. And I guess at this point, this stuff doesn't really matter, but I'd like to cover it up. Okay, so that's all connected in place now. I think we're all good to go down here. Oh, I need a piece of glowstone or something to go right here. Hold on. Yeah, that's better. I'm not too worried about stuff spawning in here, but I mean, this is gonna be open, so who knows. Alright, so on the way out of here, as I mentioned before, we're going to run some slabs along here. Oh, go ahead and take that out. And that. And yeah, that should actually be fine. Alright, so this is pretty much done under here. I do need to kind of add to this wall here, because this needs to act as like a kind of a guiding rail, I suppose. This one could come out, I think, because if this guy comes straight through and lands here, that's fine. Plus, they need to be able to get through there. But if I just come and add this all the way around, I'm going to go ahead and close it up all the way, just so that it looks good. Alright, so the rail lines are all sealed in. I think that these should be fine. You know, they'll come out here, hit the wall, fall down, and basically just hang out here until they decide to move or they get nudged by another one. And yeah, this should be all good. Assuming that this will bounce right off of there like it should, and I don't see any reason why it would not. This should work great. Yeah, we got this going down. They combined into one. They hit the activator rail, we'll knock the villager off, and then we'll get the cart back, hopefully. Hopefully all that works the way I am planning it to, and I think that it will. I think that we're okay. So, go ahead and grab that, put that back, and yeah, I think this, as far as moving the villagers and stuff around, is pretty good to go. Ooh, we might be able to test it here. Make sure all this stuff works. Let's go check, see what we got in the cart chest at the moment. Okay, so, whoops. Okay, so 9 plus 4, so that's 13. 13 carts actually in the chest. Let's go ahead and drop this cleric. I mean, I guess we'll check him real quick. We've actually got a pretty good cleric already. He could have 36 flesh, which would be better, but he's got 4 emeralds for a pot of experience, 1 emerald for 3 glowstone, and I think he's even got the 2 redstone and 2 lapis. So this is a pretty decent cleric. I use them mostly for glowstone, so that's the best trade you can get. So that's pretty good. Let me grab some of this, and we'll just check this guy real quick. He's a 37 also. What else you got? That's not the greatest. What else you got? Yeah, I don't really care. The other guy's a little bit better. What I do care about is that this works. Alright, so he's just hanging out there, but he might... We'll watch him for a minute. Alright, well, I went to sleep and I came back and dude was gone. So... I guess we'll come back here and see. Hopefully, if all this was done right, we'll have... Aha! Nice, we got the cart back. So, all that is working great. Alright, so I loaded up my spectator account real quick, and as you can see, here I am right there. Hello. I've done a quick round of trading. I loaded a whole bunch of villagers in here, and I've marked the ones that I don't need with torches. So yeah, as you can see, even though we get a lot of villagers in here, there's really not a whole lot that end up being worth keeping, right? Because, you know, we've got a good cleric, so it's going to be hard. Basically, I need to get a perfect one in order to keep him. So basically any cleric that ends up in the system, along with like butchers and leather workers that are largely kind of worthless. So I figured I would hop over on the spectator count, get underneath, and just show you guys. This is directly underneath. You can kind of see the guys just hanging out here. So they're going to end up on this rail line here, and this is the drop off for them. So I'm going to get back here where we can hopefully see all of that, and I am going to hop back over and get on this moving these guys around. So we'll go ahead and release this one. Now remember, sometimes they will just kind of stand there for a bit. You know, they're not going to necessarily move around right away. I'm trying not to be too quick about these, but actually I don't think it matters that much. Oh, maybe I did send too many at once. I think that might sort itself out. I don't know. Doesn't look good though. I mean, it's kind of working the way I think it should. All right, I need to get down there. All right, so I think that was mostly a problem of too many too fast. So I think I am just going to kind of slowly drop these guys in here. Well, maybe not that slowly, but nice. Seems to be working okay. Alright guys, so it's been many hours, days since the last little clip, but I think I've got this about as well worked out as it's gonna be. In addition, Vidargavia has actually finished the roof and the design. I think this thing looks awesome. I mean, it looks way better than anything I probably would have been able to come up with. But yeah, I really like this inset red glazed terracotta. I really like the roof, how it's kind of got this big arch in the front, but it doesn't, you know, it's mostly a flat roof with this arch in front. I don't know, I think it looks really cool. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you for coming out and helping with that. Mine wouldn't have looked anything like this. So there is still a few kinks, and I don't know if there's anything we can do about them. So I'm gonna assume that they are basically as good as it's gonna get. So one of them is these areas right here. Now, normally what was happening was a guy in a minecart, he'd come through here, fall in, and then he'd make it here. About half the time he would get stuck here, and half the time he would keep going. But in every case, if he did get stuck, the next guy would pretty much always push him along. That has not been happening for a while, and I think it's because this is now closed, maybe, is the only thing I can think of. And if that's the case, that's just how it's going to have to be. There's nothing I can do about it. I've tried like putting signs and putting a water source up here, but they just sit in here because there's still no water down here. I don't know. It's all very... I don't really know what to do about it. I don't think anything can be done about it, which is why I'm leaving this open. It's a pretty easy way to just run up here. You load a few guys, 2 or 3 in here, and then you push them along here, and then... of course, there's 2 other spots where they need to be pushed along. Also, there's a semi-easy way to get in on the inside. You'll have to break a couple blocks, but if you sprint jump over here, you can get up in here, and then if you break these blocks, you can jump right in. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, the inside's all done too, just with gray concrete, gray concrete powder, cyan, terracotta is the big one. It's what's mostly there. But yeah, so this is all working out pretty good. The underneath side, it does work as long as you take it slowly, like one at a time. That's why it works well with the thing up there. We have to nudge them along. You load 2 or 3 in, and then one at a time, you can come in here and unlock their trades and get rid of them if you need to. Unlock his trade, get rid of them if you need to. So as long as you do it pretty slow, as we saw, in general, you're not going to have to break in through the floor and deal with any of those guys. So yeah, as you can see, we've got a bunch of villagers here. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We got like different trades, aqua affinity. There's a fortune guy here. I've got a guy over here who just straight up sells a silk touch pick, which is pretty handy. Stuff like that. We've got feather falling 4, and of course mending is the big one that everybody wants to know about. So we do have a mending villager in here for 14 emeralds too. That's pretty good. Cartographer. Yeah, I'm sure, as we get more guys in here, we'll have even more stuff that you can trade for. This is a bit of a problem, and I just don't know what to do about it. I think we'll just have to eventually clean out some babies. But yeah, I think that's all the time I've got for this episode, you guys, and I think we're gonna go ahead and call this project complete. So yeah, obviously there's still spots for more villagers, but if you liked it, guys, go ahead and leave me a like. Leave me a comment down below, especially if you've got any ideas on what's wrong with my villager transport systems, either at the top or at the bottom down here. In any case, until next time, you guys, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.